I am super excited about welcoming you, Marwa, to the Leaders Who Care series. This is going to be fun and it's going to be informative, and we're delighted to have you on.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for having me for this conversation. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. And best place to start, as always, is if you could briefly introduce yourself. We'll get into the details in a minute, but where you're from, where are you now, family, maybe something you've never told anybody ever, and you want to tell the world now. If you want to, you don't have to. Tell us a little bit about who is Marwa.
Okay, this is Marwa Ali from Kabul, Afghanistan. I'm a young leader and Afghan women's rights defender because in this bad situation, we Afghan women want to defend from our rights. And I'm a co-founder of APS, Afghan Parkour Society, where I can have the opportunity to transfer my potential, my power, and my positive thinkings, positive feelings, and the message of peace through parkour to Afghan community and Afghan women and beyond my country. And I'm an alumni of US Embassy and also alumni of BHFF, where I have the opportunity to study entrepreneurship and English language methodology. And also I had the pleasure to engage with different activities.
I want to ask you before we get into it, what were you like? I mean, it's not like you're old right now, but what were you like as a kid and a teenager? Were you, I mean, you were growing up in Kabul, right? Were you an organizer of friends? Did you read a lot? Did you play sports? What were you like?
Yes, I grew up in a beautiful old city, Kabul, and where I faced lots of challenges. And I grew up from the bottom of the war, and I love reading, I love music, I love sport, and I really enjoy from playing parkour, playing juggling. When I was back in Kabul, I used to be a juggling trainer, and I played parkour and juggling and football, basketball. Back in the school, I had some time to play volleyball with my friends, and I love engaging with community and working and being active. And yes.
Did you
Yeah.
begin your education at the American University of Afghanistan in Kabul?
No, I started studying at Dunya University of Afghanistan. And the second semester of my second semester, the Afghanistan collapsed to the Taliban hand, and then I went to Pakistan. I became a refugee, and then I started my online education at American University of Afghanistan through applying in Pakistan. Yeah.
Very cool. You were an early leader. You were an early leader who cares, actually. So this is actually quite perfect. And like you said, you were, as of necessity, maybe you were a leader who cares. And I know you said you were a juggler, which is interesting, and a skater. Did you juggle while you skated?
Yes, if
You
you
did?
want to
Oh,
see, I want to share one of my pictures when I was child. I played juggling on skateboard. It is so interesting. Yeah, and also I love juggling, and I love parkour. And after the government changed, although I became a refugee and had my struggling with different challenges. So I have the potential and motivation to work with teams and organization. And in online classes, I thought that I am helpless, but after some while, like in engaging with activities, I got different envision. Like I thought that no, okay, Marwa, you can do it. Yeah, you can be a very good leader who care about her society and do more and more for Afghan women who need you in this dark situation. And I could engage in projects to help them for their mental health, for their physical activities, for their powers, for their motivations, because they deserve.
right. Well, let me ask you a question on that, because you you obviously had to, you had this early part where you knew you had to do things, you really cared a lot, but there was things like the juggling and the skating. There was like, you were an English teacher for a little bit. You're, social activist, into climate. As you said, you're a co-founder of Afghan Parkour Society. Obviously, you didn't have much time on your hands. But what were you envisioning? I know, and we'll get into it about women's rights, which is critical. What were you envisioning for your future during that whole period?
Um, Before the Afghanistan collapse, I had a very bright future, like vision in my mind that okay, Mara, you will have a very bright future and you can achieve your goals, you can study. But when the government changed and collapsed, my all hopes, my all goals collapsed with the country as well. I get a dark future for myself. I thought that no, Marwa, you cannot do anything because there are many restrictions. But I fortunately I could overcome from those challenges, and then when I had the pleasure to engage with Afghan women in projects, I saw their very deep smiles from their hearts, and I thought, okay, Marwa, you can do it. I got different picture. I got different vision from my future that I will be a leader who can care about her society and who can care about her Afghan women. Okay, they need you, and in this situation, you gonna take their hands, and they can improve. And because if we take each other's hands, so we can. And I have different vision for my future because I could and I can.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Share about the work of the Afghan parkour. Did you pronounce it parkour?
Yes, parkour.
So yeah, share about that, about the work of that society, the impact you made in the country for youth and women, and how you continued that, after leaving the country. In fact, for example, you had projects like I saw the AW camp in Pakistan, which I thought was amazing. Talk a little bit about the work you do there.
Afghan Parkour Society, EPS, established back in 2019, Kabul. We had different projects in like national coach seminars, workshop in different provinces of Afghanistan, like about 60 provinces of Afghanistan. And we had uh, climate change strikes for awareness of climate change panic for Afghan youths, like in different provinces. And also we had the educational and sports programs for orphanage children, for orphanage centers, like refugee camps. And we had hiking programs for Afghan women refugee back in Pakistan. Like it was so good for their mental health, as participants back reflected to us that they got different feelings because they were facing challenges like mental health, like they were depressed because of the lack of job opportunity in Pakistan for refugees, like in the part of Afghan refugee from Pakistan, and very difficulties for refugee in Pakistan. So these programs, like you mentioned, Awake Camp, Afghan Women Empowerment Camp, which was a very, very different, like very good and so good for their mental health. And Afghan women, so the participants, they were like totally changed after the camp. They were so happy and they got a very bright future for themselves. They said that we were depressed, we were locked in prison by the name of house. It's not house, it's prison. Like just the name is different. We were locked, we cannot do anything out of our house. We have to be locked in house and we cannot go out. But you created opportunities for us, and we came together, we shared our ideas. Okay, we learned from each other, we exchange our ideas, cultures, different talks and talks. And they saw that okay, beside our problems, we can do, and we can do more and more. In our program, AWEC program, Afghan Women Empowerment Camp, we taught them project management and proposal writings and team working. They had the opportunity to improve their team buildings and how to do physical activities. And then after the program, we gave them small grants so they could have their own grants, and they did their own projects, and it was so awesome for them. Now their own team, they can do their own projects, and it is so pleasure for us and for our team that we could create job opportunities. You know, they can have their own, like we taught them web designing and many other, like they studied project management, so they can go ahead and teach others, and then we can have this in wide range of community.
You know, it's so, I mean, it's so important. You can't even say how important it is, to be honest. And can you describe, you started it, can you describe the importance of the education and the sports opportunities for Afghan youth and women to advocate for rights, but also, do you see it impacting or even giving some hope for those still in Afghanistan? Do they have access to news, communications? Do they still have an ounce of hope that something could change for them as well?
As we all know, education is human right. You know, every human being, like, it's our right to educate, and sport is one of the most important factor we can help us to overcome our challenges, obstacles. We can build resilience and strength. So
Right.
we want to the world should hear us. We Afghan women need to education, but like in nowadays in our country, the government, the Taliban government, are announcing in news that okay, we will open the schools tomorrow, and tomorrow, maybe next week, next month, next year. No, they want to just give us hope, but we don't want their hope. Like, they are just getting making us false newses. They
Right.
don't do what they say. They just want to say, and okay, scam you. We need actions. We need our schools. We need our universities. But no one care about that, and no one want to hear us. So education is one of the most things that we want.
Can you, I don't even know if it's explainable. Can you share what the feeling must be? Because, you know, people say, imagine how it feels, and imagine how it feels. And they don't mean it, they mean it sincerely, but it's really hard to really imagine what it feels for a young person or a woman to not have those opportunities, to have this thing burning inside. And how long is it before the fire just goes away and you just give up? Can you share amazingly potentially what that feels like?
Just I want to ask you, can you please imagine and close your eyes for a minute and imagine you cannot go out of house and just stay in house and do nothing. Just stay in house. Do not go. You're not allowed to go to house. You're not go to do anything out of house, and you just have to take care of baby. And you don't need to wear colorful clothes and go out of house. You don't have the right to select the whatever you want to study, what major you would like, or what is your interest. You cannot have the minute to think about yourself that, okay, what am I like to do about your interest? You cannot have that much right. Okay, it's very clear that how bad effects and how bad feelings it is. When I remember this, I really cry. There are women that they don't have their husband, their sons, and their fathers, no men. They cannot work. The Taliban don't allow them. They cannot have financially independent. They have to go and ask for bread in front of a bakery for asking. And oh, I'm
Begging?
sorry, I get
Like,
so
beg, like,
emotional. You know, it's so difficult.
yeah.
So difficult. you are just struggling with nothing, with locked hands.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. That's why I was thinking, you have a little bit of hope, you have a little bit of fire inside, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And do you give up? Do you just give up? Um, there was that Afghan women's football or soccer team, whatever you want to call it, that got out, right?
Yeah.
Is there news or any communications? Do any of the women or the youth in Afghanistan hear about these things, or not at all?
Uh, yes, they do have access to the news, so they hear about the Afghan women, like they got out of the country and they are now safe, who are inside of Afghanistan, and they have mostly access to the news out of Afghanistan that okay, football team get out of the country and this team and some. We have another good news just. 1 month ago, another team of Afghan girls got a scholarship, so they are just they want to, like, in although they are in war zone, inside of the war, but they are trying to get out and to work for their goals, and they are not stopping. If the Taliban lock us in home, we don't stop there. I witnessed that they are my community. They are studying online classes from inside of the prison, inside of the house, inside of the war zone. We cannot stop there. We will work harder.
Yeah, I love that. You can't give up. And do people like yourself that still have family in Afghanistan, um, what does that feel like? What I know, like you said, they can get access maybe to online courses secretly and things like that. But um, your sister and you got out. You still have one brother. I can't remember, or two, one brother there, or two brothers there. Um, Again, do they wish they could get out, or are they just ingrained in what's happening there right now, and they just living their life, or what are their thoughts?
No one wants to get out of their house, everyone wants to have their own comfort zone, and I love my own house because it's my house and at home I live. I feel so safe instead of another, like, places. But this situation that force you to get out of your house, to get out of your homeland where you grew up, where you have your own culture, language, and everything. But now, even myself, even when I was there, when I'm sure my brothers and other people, they don't feel that it's our house, it's our country. They don't feel that Afghanistan is their own country, because another group came and says that it's not Afghanistan, it's Islamic country. What is Islamic country? We are Islamic countries where you kill the woman. In Islam, it doesn't say to kill the woman. Okay, everyone wants to get out of that country that you have to be killed without any reason.
Right.
You have to go to prison without any reason. They are taking men and women with no reason, just going to prison and push them to be like that, to be like that. So where you don't have right, even as a man or woman, it doesn't matter. It's for sure you want to get out of the country and to be in a safe country, to be in a country that you have the opportunity to study and work. At least in Afghanistan, there is no opportunity to study or work.
Yeah, I think sometimes people outside take the word freedom for granted. Like it's just there, so I have freedom, and freedom doesn't necessarily mean you can do whatever you want to anybody. It generally means you have the freedom to speak, you have the freedom to do anything as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else. I mean, but I think we take freedom for granted, too much. Can you share a little bit more about your passion for women's rates, for youth rates, and what rates those are? But also, I noticed, one of your feelings in terms of, you mentioned your goal, whatever you want to call it, is living on a peaceful earth. Is my only desire. Talk about that.
Um, I want to say the sentence of a psychologist saying that true strength is when you work with others and demonstrate love for them. You show that how you love them. And when I engage with Afghan women, with their concerns, I want to address and shout and yell that what we need, and we want to be heard. And uh, it's like it gives me so good feeling that I work with them and I advocate for their rights, and it gives me so immense pride. And also there are like very difficulties back in Afghanistan, but the only my desire is to have nowadays education and a sport. You know, it's the basic human rights, and we want to have education. And sorry, I
Okay.
get emotions because why just Afghanistan? Why just Afghanistan? There are many other countries that they are in war zone, like Syria and other countries, and they are in poverty, they are in poor. But why just Afghanistan should be the only country in all over the world, in among all these countries, that they cannot go to school? Why? Why? It's a question that we want our rights. Why other country? You can go and ban another country. We want to go to schools. We want to study. We don't need anything else. We want to go to work. We want to play sport, you know? And it's like very, very basic things that you cannot do in your life. And it's my only desire in all over the earth that we have to have a very peaceful earth. Like we should go to school, we should study, we have to have a freedom in just not just in Afghanistan. Like there are war like in other countries. I want freedom and peace.
Yeah, no, I can feel it. And there's a program called Nonflict that's interesting out there. It coaches people how to look at conflict in a different way. It just means different ideas. It doesn't mean you hate another person, doesn't mean you kill literally or figuratively another person, but it does mean you actively listen to other people. I mean, like really actively listen to other people. And it's an understatement to say it's a shame that people aren't listening to the women and the youth. I mean, around the world, but to an extreme in Afghanistan, because the minds are being wasted that could offer so much, that could really cure cancer or cure whatever. There's so many smart people there, and I know it's got to change. So first of all, thank you for being a leader who cares, because it's really important, and that people hear what's going on, and keep fighting for it. And I want to ask you, a client of mine said about the year 2020, which was the pandemic year, that it was the year that flew by slowly. There's been a lot that's happened from 2020 to now that we're talking a little bit about here. But even with all that, can you share with us like what you're most grateful for? And then I have an idea of what you're most hopeful for as well.
Yeah, you're right. There are many Afghan women who are so talented and skilled, and if we just care about them, if we just pay attention for their talents, they can bright all the world if we just give them chance. There are many, many talents. They are hidden. We have to just pay attention for them and give them the chance to show up their talents. And to go to your question, in 2024 was a very different year for me, to be honest. It taught me very different lessons from immigration, that I faced the challenges in these years. And 2024 was a little bit changeable for me, that I could make some changes and I learned more things. And I think I have the different feeling that I can, as a leader who care, so I can care more about my women, my mothers, my sisters who need me in Afghanistan, so I can create more opportunities for them. and I wish that I can. I will.
No, that's beautiful. And thank you for, again, being a leader who cares, but and thank you even more so for sharing your passion, um, your beliefs and the work you're doing, and as I said, and your smile. So I hopefully keep that going. Thank you.
Thank you for you.